Have you been wondering how you can increase your income with property ideas you can use right now? Well, let's go.
Good day, ICanWin here, and welcome to this video where I'm going to be outlining for you a number of property strategies you can use right now to start making money from property. But I just want to share this. If you haven't seen the first video in this 4-video series, go and watch that video before you get started with this video so you get all of the value from these videos. Now, if you've seen the first video and all of the videos before this, guess what? You're in the right place, you're in the right space. Congratulations, and get some more value from watching this one right here. Let's go.
I don't want to waste any time. I'm going to give you an acronym so you can literally remember all 7 as well. So let's jump straight onto the board so we can get straight into this. And for those of you who are new to the channel, I help people create consistent, colossal cash flow using resources and revenues hidden in plain sight. In fact, whilst other coaches are out there saying that they help people become financially free within 5 to 10 years, me and my team help people become financially free within 3 to 12 months. So if that's interesting to you, hit that subscribe button, press the like button, and be a part of this community so every single time we drop another video, you can find out more. So like I said, let's go. So what I'm gonna do to start is give you guys an acronym in order to help you never ever forget any of the 7 approaches I'm gonna be sharing with you in this video. And the acronym is even easier to remember because it's literally my name. All you have to do is write down Samuel I. So let's do that. SAMUEL and I. Now, each of these letters from my name plus my initial is going to give you one of the 7 strategies that I'm going to be talking about in this video. So we're going to go into the 3rd strategy, which I know is going to be extremely of value to you. Now, for our 3rd strategy, what we're going to be speaking about is property management, okay? Property management. Now, property management is a way that you can start to generate revenue from property fairly quickly, again, without actually owning property. Now, some of you would have recognized that the first 3 strategies I've given you are all strategies where you don't actually have to own the property. So I know for many of you, light bulbs are going off right now and you're saying to yourself, wow, Samuel, like there are multiple strategies where I don't have to own a property, but I can still generate income from a property. And the answer to that is absolutely yes. If you were getting really good at finding great deals and going into property sourcing, you'd be able to generate well in excess of £1,000 every single month if you have a system mechanism in order to make this work for you. If you decided to go into assisted sales, then yet again, you'd be in a position where you'd be able to generate well in excess of £1,000 a month as long as you had this system working for you. And again, if you went into property management, after I define it for you, you're gonna understand how if you were able to get this working for you, again, it's another strategy where you'll be able to create multiple thousands of pounds every single month from these 3 initial strategies, which are strategies where you don't even have to own the property. So what is property management? Well, property management is when you set yourself up appropriately, which takes a few steps. Again, nothing burdensome, but fairly simple. But then once you've set yourself up, you're able to go and support people who have properties they want to rent out, but they don't want to do the management. Now, one of the things I come across a lot of the time is people telling me, oh, but Samuel, who's going to let me manage their house? And the first thing I say to most people is, I'm sure you have friends and families, and many of us are landlords. And if you're a landlord, you probably know other landlords who have properties and have already become tired of managing those properties. Now, I'm going to be very transparent with you with the tax changes that have taken place over the last 4 or 5 years, with the changes in interest rates, with all of the changes that are taking place in the property market year in, year out. What happens is most of the market, a large majority, because they decide to listen to mainstream news, mainstream media, they end up believing the mainstream narrative and feeling like the mainstream. And the mainstream are gonna tell you, oh, property doesn't work. The mainstream is gonna tell you, oh, property is hard. And the reason why they have that narrative is because they do not want you to build wealth. Now, I could go down a whole rant on that. And maybe if you guys are interested in me doing another video on all the reasons why I like property as a platform to invest in, then let me know in the comments below. But for property management, when you jump on board, you need to just ask yourself, do I already know people in my immediate network who might be interested in me managing their property on their behalf? Because the moment you're able to start managing people's property on their behalf, what happens is you are able to get a piece of the cake, all right? You're able to get a piece of the pie. Now, why is this so beneficial? And I'm gonna share with you exactly why it's so beneficial. Again, like many of the other strategies I've shared already in this video, it's beneficial because you don't have to own their property. So if you're someone who's already got a portfolio of 4 or 5 properties and you're saying to yourself, well, hold on a minute, how can I continue to generate revenue, or how can I increase my cash flow without actually having to deploy new deposits? Well, one of the ways is by starting to manage properties on behalf of other people. And it's literally by doing this, by developing your expertise and your skill set in this area, that you'll be able to control not only multiple property, but multiple thousands of pounds in other people's properties and using other people's properties, okay? So that's property management, and that's one of the first benefits, the fact that you don't have to own the property. Now, here's a second benefit. A second benefit is that if you're an existing landlord, you probably already have some of the things in place necessary and needed in order to manage other people's property. Now, one of the things that you'll find is there are many people managing property or who own property, landlords, who don't really know how to effectively manage their property. And if you've been able to do that for the last 8 years, 9 years, 10, 12 years, you probably have some insights and experience that could be of deep benefit to these other landlords. So I want you to think about that as a way and an approach and an asset that maybe you have when you come to the table to manage other people's properties. Now, the last benefit I'm gonna leave you with for property management is that property management allows you to radically speed up your revenue creation very, very quickly, okay? Now, you just take this example. Imagine if you were able to manage 3 of your fellow landlords' properties, and each of those properties, just to make it simple, were generating £1,500 every single month, okay? So that's £4,500 across the board. Now, estate agents typically are charging for management anywhere between 5% all the way up to 12-15%, okay? So if you are managing a property that is generating £1,500, let's say 10% is the management fee, and this is just an example. So that's £150 per month from a property you don't even own, using expertise and skills that you are maybe already largely using on your own existing portfolio. So now the reality is, well, if I end up with 3 of these properties, that's now an extra £450 to manage other people's property. And that's not even including some of the cash flow creation strategies that me and my team literally employ when we work with our coaching clients, and actually the properties that we take on as well, okay? But if that's something of interest to you, feel free to just look in the description of this video and you'll see more information about our 5-day challenge and other stuff that we use to help people catapult their cash flow in a very quick period of time. So they're the 3 benefits I want to share with you about property management. The first one, you don't have to own the property. The second one, you don't have to deploy large deposit funds. And the third one, literally, you can radically, quickly, speedily grow your portfolio of revenue by managing other people's property. So you might be saying to yourself, Samuel, I really want to get into this property management thing. I think it's a great way to do it. And I'm going to encourage you, if that's you right now, then just take some time out and start to consider whose properties you could manage, what kind of locations would be good for you to manage properties, because you might be working full time, or you might be like many of our clients who've already become financially free from their property income, but they're still kind of struggling. They're the kind of financially free-ish group of people that I talk about all the time, the kind of people that are generating £200 to £300 per month per property. They've already built a portfolio of 5 to 8 properties, and they're just saying to themselves, it's not replacing my income yet, but I can see that this thing can work. So if that's you, I want you to start to think about, okay, what kind of locations would be best for me to manage property, and then side by side with that, who potentially owns property in that area that I could collaborate with, work with, support, and serve in order to start to manage their property. So with that being said, let's go into the 4th of these strategies that's going to help you move further faster in your property investment journey. Now, for the 4th strategy, I'm gonna just tell you up front, this is an advanced strategy. So when I say that, what I mean is many of you guys who are tuning into this video at this current stage in your property journey will most likely not jump into this strategy. But for the few of you who are more advanced, this strategy is gonna be right up your street. And this strategy is known as underwriting property. Now, if you're someone, I'm just gonna say this straight off the bat, if you're someone who's really interested in going deeper into underwriting property deals, I'm gonna share with you, after I finish talking about this strategy, a great resource that can help you get started on that part of your journey. So with underwriting property, a question you might be asking is, how does it work? And as I mentioned, it's a more advanced strategy, but I'm gonna explain exactly how it works. You see, because the process of underwriting strategy is where you take a property that is in need of being sold to a platform for that platform to sell that property. But when you take the property to that platform as an intermediary, as a third party, you make a foundational offer on that property. So if the property doesn't sell on that platform for the price that you guys desire or above the price that you have set, you end up buying the property at the price you've underwritten the property for. Now, as I mentioned, it's a bit of an advanced strategy, but stay with me here because it's gonna be really simple to understand. So let's take an example. Let's say the property we spoke about earlier on in this video, which we were gonna sell for £330,000, we decided to take to an auction. And because we decided to take it to an auction house, we set up an agreement with the auction house that if the house sells for anything above £300,000, that basically we would be able to split all of the revenue above that 300,000 between ourselves and the sellers, okay? So for example, we've got the husband and wife in this example, they're trying to sell their house with speed. We're taking that property and taking it through an auction as the platform, and as the auction house are gonna now put this house on the market and sell it through its auctioneer process, we are gonna be able to benefit from every pound above 300,000 that it sells for. So let's say, for example, the underwriting agreement states that if it does not sell for over £300,000, we have to buy the house for £300,000. But if it does sell for above 300,000, then every pound above 300,000 gets split 50% between myself and between the sellers. So just for example, if that house did sell for 330,000 in an auction environment, less fees, let's say that 30,000 above 300 will get split 50-50 between ourselves and between the particular seller we are helping in that process. Now, I know some of you are thinking, wow, Samuel, is that a strategy that people can actually do? And the answer is yes, 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 and in good old Jim Rohn fashion, of course. The question is, why not you? And the reason 9 times out of 10 is just because we haven't taken that time to educate ourselves and understand a lot more about property investing than the typical estate agent is willing to tell you. Now, in this strategy, you might be saying, okay, look, Samuel, I love that strategy. It sounds amazing. So I'm gonna share with you some of the actual real benefits that you might not have even thought about. The first benefit, yet again, is you don't even have to own the property. The second benefit is you are helping people. You see, I don't know about you, but you may not have recognized in each of the 4 strategies I've just shared, the heart behind each of these strategies is being able to serve other people. I found a long time ago that Jesus in the Bible actually gave us the cheat code to becoming great financially and any other way by saying, if you want to be the greatest of all, you must become the servant of many. And one of the ways I heard that said in a way which I thought was so splendid was when Zig Ziglar used to say that service to many leads to greatness. So I've discovered in my life, every time I focus on serving other people, I literally set myself up to be as great as I desire. So I want to encourage you, as a second benefit, start to understand that you are serving other people in order to underwrite those properties, because those sellers, if it doesn't achieve a 330, a 301, a 302, a 350 price, well, I'm going to buy the property at 300,000. Now, the last benefit I want to share with you about underwriting property is that the property for the seller gets sold regardless. It's going to be sold. It's either me who's going to buy it, or it's going to be someone from that auction house who buys it. Now, I mentioned a moment ago, I'm gonna share a resource, and listen guys, this is not a sponsored video, but I am gonna share a resource that was literally created by 2 of my friends, and that's a book known as Before the Hammer Falls. Now, this was written by 2 friends of mine, 2 colleagues in the property industry, and basically in this book, they outline all the things you need to know about buying a property at an auction. But more importantly, they've got some bonus chapters with one of them covering underwriting property, which I think is essential for you to start to read if this is an advanced strategy you want to get into.
If you got value out of this video, be sure to write the comments down below and let us know so we can create more content like this for you. But listen guys, I want to encourage you, if you haven't already, go and watch the other videos in this series. This is a 4-part series, and get all of the value from all 7 of the strategies that you can use to generate revenue in property right now. And I'll see you on the next one, as you remember that small keys open up big doors.